Well, I got to be honest. There's one person in the National Football League right now that moves the needle, and he's a third-string quarterback. Shedeur Sanders. Oh, in light of the comments he just made, I made a video on it yesterday afternoon where he was talking about other quarterbacks around the league compared to him. Now, I ain't going to lie to you. After seeing Kyler Murray last night, I'm like, if I'm Arizona, I'd flip a fifth over there and see what you got. I don't think I'm not a Kyler Murray guy, never have been, so and I don't love his size.
Shedeur Sanders drops comments and Deion Sanders adds heat to the fire. Suddenly, Kevin Stefanski, the coach famous for sounding like he's reading bedtime stories during press conferences, decides to clap back. But here's the wild twist. Instead of cooling things down, he throws gasoline on it, declaring he's ready to play right now, not coach play. Is this man going through a midlife crisis or trying to launch the NFL's strangest comeback tour? Either way, fans can't stop watching this chaos unfold.
It looked like Kevin Stefanski had some things to say about Shedeur Sanders in his press conference today. Looked like the moment everybody has been waiting for has arrived. That is Kevin Stefanski finally uttering Shedeur Sanders' name. Now, we know Shedeur Sanders made it apparent in his business to speak about his current state with the Browns yesterday, you boy. Now, a lot of people has reacted to that. That's the video we did before this one, kind of breaking down what Shedeur Sanders had to say. Now, with that being said, Kevin Stefanski made it his time and his business to speak about it. Now, we know Shedeur Sanders has been sitting on the bench for the entire season. But he ain't the only one, because Dylan Gabriel got his ass on the bench.
Well, it finally happened. Kevin Stefanski, the man who runs every press conference like it's a hostage tape, finally dropped the name everyone's been waiting for, Shedeur Sanders. The way he dragged it out, you'd swear he was about to spill nuclear codes instead of talking football. And here's the kicker. When a head coach with the personality of plain, unsalted oatmeal finally admits you exist, you already know things are about to get spicy in Cleveland.
I tell you, man, Shedeur Sanders did not mince words today when he was interviewed by his locker the day after practice. Shedeur Sanders let it be known to the world and to Kevin Stefanski and to the Cleveland Browns organization that he's ready right now and he's ready to play. And what do I get from that, man? It seems like Shedeur Sanders is applying a lot of pressure to that Cleveland Browns organization, and he's just waiting for his chance. But he said, look, I'm ready to play, and I'm ready to play right now.
Shedeur had already thrown down the gauntlet, making it crystal clear. He's ready to play, ready to start, ready to drag Cleveland out of its yearly free fall into misery, and fans ate it up. Let's be real, though. If you're a Browns fan at this stage, you'll believe in anybody. A rookie quarterback, a washed-up 40-year-old, maybe even a dog rocking a helmet. It doesn't matter, as long as somebody swears they won't collapse by December.
A great quote where he said, I've never sat on the bench and said, I learned a lot today.
Yeah.
Do you agree with him on that? What are your thoughts when he said that?
Everybody's perspective, so that's not nothing, in my place to answer. That's nothing I can't answer. I know if you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that.
But here's where it really gets entertaining. Instead of dropping clarity, fire, or even a sliver of hope, Stefanski hit us with pure corporate buzzwords. He didn't sound like a football coach. He sounded like some regional manager breaking the news that your promotion's still under review. The lines came rolling out. Oh, Shedeur's working hard. He's close. He's improving every day. We're excited about his progress. Man, that's HR talk, not NFL energy.
So, Shedeur Sanders says he feels better. He can play better than other starting quarterbacks. I did this video yesterday afternoon. If you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I am capable of doing better than that. Well, that leads us to Mary Kay Cabot, and here's the problem, folks. Do you think other teams in the National Football League see this and they're like, yeah, that's what I want to have to deal with if I have a backup quarterback. I want my coach to have to answer questions for things that my backup quarterback is saying. I keep telling folks, unfortunately, Sanders and Sanders fans right now are hurting Sanders more than anybody else.
Translation? Stefanski's basically saying, I'm rolling with Grandpa Joe Flacco until the wheels literally fall off, and only maybe then Shedeur will get a shot to throw a pass. Let's pause and take in the comedy here. Shedeur Sanders, a guy with enough raw talent to actually give fans hope, has been sitting on that bench like it's his 9-to-5 job. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco, whose highlight tape now looks more like a retirement tribute, is still out there slinging passes like it's 2012 all over again. If that ain't football malpractice, I don't know what is. And it's not just Shedeur catching splinters, Dillon Gabriel's been gathering dust too. At this point, the Browns might as well start scouting dudes from the stands, because refusing to move on from Flacco is like bragging about your flip phone while everyone else is flexing holograms in 8K on their iPhones. To Stefanski, Flacco isn't old. He's experienced. He's not slow. He's deliberate. He's not washed, he's battle-tested. Spin it however you want, Kevin, but we all see the truth. This man creaks every time he bends down to tie his cleats. And here's where it gets juicy. Fans are starting to whisper that maybe, just maybe, Shedeur needs to pull an Angel Reese move from the WNBA. Demand an exit and make some serious noise.
Gotta keep it real. Kevin Stefanski, for whatever reason, is gung-ho about playing 40-year-old Joe Flacco. Now, if they feel like they can make it to the Super Bowl, make it to the playoffs with him, so be it. But do I feel like that's the best situation for Shedeur as a player? No. I feel like Shedeur Sanders need to get traded, need to go to another team, need to somehow, some way, figure out a way to get out of this Cleveland Brown contract. Hell, we just seen Angel Reese get out of hers in Chicago, right? So maybe Shedeur Sanders need to make some noise, get the hell out of his contract, throw people under the bus, make the team trade you.
Throw the shade, torch the bridge, and dance on the ashes, because if Stefanski won't let Shedeur shine, another franchise out there will. The NFL is packed with desperate teams, and Shedeur would look real sharp in a jersey not cursed by decades of heartbreak. And honestly, can you even blame him? Being stuck behind Joe Flacco in 2025 is like getting drafted into the NBA and being told you can't touch the court until Vince Carter retires. Except he hung it up years ago. That's the kind of twisted timeline that makes you wonder if you signed up for the wrong sport entirely. But Stefanski? He doesn't care about optics. He's doubling down, repeating the same tired line. Quarterback development is a process. Some guys start right away, some sit for years, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's working hard, everyone's improving. It's like asking your boss about a raise and hearing, "We value all our employees equally." Great, Kevin, but who's actually cashing the check? Meanwhile, fans are boiling. Social media is split straight down the middle. Half are begging Stefanski to finally unleash Shedeur before the season goes up in smoke, and the other half are terrified he'll get shredded behind Cleveland's offensive line, which has more holes than a pair of $3 socks.
I just wanted to come on here and say, man, like, it's a lot of trashness going around in the NFL right now for my man Shedeur to not be getting no run and no playtime somewhere. All I'm saying is, like, it's a lot of trash around the NFL. Like, it's a lot of horrible quarterback play. Like, it's a lot of just mediocre teams. Like, when y'all drafted that boy in the 5th round, like, I felt like y'all had these teams, like, y'all knew what y'all was doing.
Either way, everybody agrees on one thing. This is peak Browns chaos, and nobody does chaos like Cleveland. And you gotta admit, Stefanski's timing is unreal. Just as Shedeur declares he's ready, Stefanski reacts like a guy dared to dive in the pool but insists on tiptoeing his way in first. He's close, he's improving, we're happy with his progress. Translation, Shedeur could literally walk on water and Stefanski would still be saying, "We'll evaluate him next week." Now let's talk about Flacco, because this is where the comedy truly takes flight. Cleveland fans are expected to believe that a quarterback who peaked during the Obama administration is somehow their golden ticket to glory. Sure, the old Corolla still runs, but at some point you got to admit you're just clogging traffic. And what about Deion Sanders? You really think Coach Prime is going to stay quiet while his son's career collects dust in the Cleveland garage like an unused treadmill? Absolutely not. Deion doesn't do quiet. This man's probably already sketching out a plan to storm Berea with shades on, a cowboy hat tilted low, and a full marching band blasting behind him just to get Stefanski's attention. If Stefanski thought the media was a nightmare, just wait until Deion starts cooking up pressure.
That Shedeur Sanders was drafted in the 5th round, 144th overall. And we know that he's the 3rd string quarterback on the depth chart. And he's the emergency quarterback every week since week 1 leading up to week 3, probably going into week 4, he's going to be the emergency quarterback as well. And with that being said, he's listed on the inactive roster. But we've heard Shedeur Sanders a couple days ago. We did a show. He talked about, the camaraderie he got with the guys on the scout team and the practice squad, where he's building connections and he's building the continuity with his receiver.
The tension couldn't be heavier. On one side, you've got a coach holding on to Joe Flacco like he's his emotional support quarterback, and on the other, a rookie quarterback practically begging for a shot to prove himself. Stuck in the middle are fans who've suffered through enough heartbreak to write a full-on Shakespearean tragedy. Right now, the Browns' quarterback situation doesn't even feel like football. It feels like a messy reality show. You've got the stubborn veteran who refuses to quit, the rookie desperate for screen time, and the coach who thinks spitting out vague motivational phrases is enough to keep everyone calm. And the wild part, Shedeur would probably be starting for half the league right now. The Giants are trotting out Jackson Dart like he's their franchise savior, while Stefanski acts like Shedeur needs 6 more months of yoga before he's ready. Newsflash, Kevin, rookies don't develop by sitting on the bench watching Flacco slowly fossilize. They get better by actually playing. And that's the kicker here. Every rookie quarterback is a gamble. Some light it up instantly, some flame out quick, and some take a year to grow. But none of them grow rotting away on the sidelines.
Natural line, right? Your line is just to say, hey, I'm here trying to get better. I'll be ready. I'm just going to try and do my best. You got to kind of get better in silence. And you have to realize that sometimes you got reporters just sitting around and they'll put a camera in your face. You think they're your friend. You feel good because you're getting some attention because you're not the starting quarterback, and you just say stuff, not realizing that it blows up to stuff like this. And the last time we saw him in the playoff, in the preseason against guys that are probably, pumping gas right now, he didn't look so good.
Stefanski's acting like Shedeur came out of the draft stamped with a fragile label that reads, "Do not open until 2027. Every time he's asked about the kid, the answer sounds like a corporate training tape. We're developing our young talent. We're focused on long-term growth. Long-term growth? Buddy, this is Cleveland. Fans don't do long-term growth. They do short-term suffering. Other franchises throw their rookies into the fire and let them learn the hard way. But Stefanski? He's hovering like a helicopter parent, terrified Shedeur might scrape his knee. Newsflash, Kevin, football is a contact sport. Sure, pour yourself another bowl of cereal with that 10-day-old milk and keep telling us how veteran it tastes. Shedeur's situation has reached the point where trade rumors don't even sound dramatic anymore. They sound like rescue missions. Fans are dreaming of him landing anywhere else. A place where a coach might actually let him compete, instead of pretending he's thrilled to watch Joe Flacco stumble around the field like a malfunctioning Roomba.
I mean, what difference does it make? He already, Shedeur, won the 2 damn competitions that existed and you still didn't care. You just want to go with Dylan, and it's not because. It is not because Dylan is the preference for Stefanski. It is because the culture in Cleveland doesn't support a black franchise QB long-term at the number 1 spot, drafted number 1 or drafted 144. They thought they could pigeonhole him there, which was ridiculous, which means they don't know talent and they don't give a damn about it. They knew coming out of training camp, Shedeur Sanders was going to make it to the front.
The NFL doesn't usually work like this, but imagine the headlines if Shedeur actually pulled it off. Overnight, he'd go from benched rookie to trailblazing disruptor, the kid who forced his way out of Cleveland. And honestly, that might be the best move for his career. Don't think Deion Sanders hasn't clocked this either. Coach Prime lives for this type of drama. If he could sneak into every press conference, he would, and you can practically picture him already shaking his head. In his world, if you've got a Ferrari, you don't let it rot in the garage while you keep cruising in a rusty pickup. But Stefanski, he's out here proudly parading that rusty pickup around the neighborhood while the Ferrari sits covered in dust under a tarp. Of course, the man's not stupid. He knows if he slips and says too much, it'll spark a full-blown meltdown. Translation? Stop asking me about him. I'm still not putting him in. It's genius in its own twisted way. He manages to answer every question without ever actually saying anything. The guy could run for office tomorrow with that skill set. Imagine the campaign slogan, Kevin Stefanski, providing progress without promises, since 2020.
Which brings me finally to Shedeur Sanders. A favorite subject of mine because he's a favorite player of mine without a real home, without a real opportunity, without real hope that he so deserves. Again, he should have been the first overall pick in the draft. My friend Mel Kiper had him ranked above Cam Ward, as did I. First overall pick to Tennessee. Right now, should have been Shedeur starting for the Tennessee Titans as we speak.
Here's the thing, fans aren't buying it anymore. Cleveland has seen this same tired movie play out year after year. A quarterback controversy, empty promises, heartbreak by midseason, and a fan base left wondering why they keep showing up. But this time, the script's got a twist. Shedeur Sanders isn't just another random rookie. He's the son of Deion Sanders, and that name carries serious weight. The media won't let it die down, and you can bet rival teams are circling like vultures, dreaming of trading for Shedeur just to stick it to Cleveland. By the time Stefanski finally lets him take a snap, the Browns will probably already be eliminated from playoff contention, leaving fans screaming about why they didn't try him sooner. It's almost laughable how Stefanski managed to turn what should have been a routine press conference into a full-blown soap opera. Reporters lobbed him softballs, and he fired back with answers so dry they could dehydrate a cactus. And just to top it off, he even tried sneaking in a random rant about offensive line challenges, like that was going to distract anyone from the real headline. Nice try, Kevin, but nobody's falling for that smokescreen.
Yeah, I wouldn't characterize it disappointed. I think he's working very, very hard. He's getting really close.
Do you get any word from the NFL on that? The one who played the turn in?
I did. That should have been a penalty, which we all thought in the moment.
Interior pressure, specifically a more steep challenge for certain quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think pressure in general is hard for quarterbacks, wherever it comes from. All quarterbacks, I will say the interior wise, you can get home quicker just by the distance you have to travel as opposed to the edge. So that all teams try to keep that interior of the pocket clean.
Nobody's tuning in to hear a TED Talk on interior pass rush. They want to know when Shedeur is finally touching the football. And let's be real, the cherry on top? Flacco isn't even playing well enough to earn this blind loyalty. If he was out there torching defenses, maybe fans could tolerate it, but he's not. Watching Flacco at this stage is like trying to run Windows XP on a brand new laptop. The effort's there, but the system just can't keep up, and yet Stefanski keeps staring at him like he's the solution to every problem. Nobody asked about your offensive linemen, Kevin. Nobody asked about your special teams gunners. The question was about Shedeur, but Stefanski deflects so slick, you'd swear he's auditioning for a PR gig. The irony? Every single time Stefanski avoids giving Shedeur his due, the story only explodes bigger. If he had just said, yeah, the kid looks good, the media might have moved on. Instead, he poured gasoline on it.
My love for Shedeur Sanders is bigger than Shedeur, is deeper than Shedeur. It's about us, family. Let's just be real. You guys see that. It's about us, man. Shedeur, you need to say something. No more cute words. No more like 4 days ago when you had that viral press conference where you referenced the quarterback play in the NFL sucks and you probably could play for those teams as well. And bro, you sugarcoating things too much. You are your daddy's son, and that's the issue. We love Coach Prime. Coach Prime is so gifted, they couldn't ignore Coach Prime the way they ignored you.
Instead, Stefanski's refusal to acknowledge the obvious turns every press conference into a full-blown circus. And the more he tries to downplay it, the more people are convinced he's hiding something. At this point, the Browns' quarterback room doesn't feel like football. It feels like an episode of Survivor. You've got Joe Flacco, the seasoned vet just trying to outlast everybody else, while Kevin Stefanski plays the smug host dragging out the suspense for no reason other than his own amusement. And the fans, they're stuck tuning in every week praying for change that never comes. But deep down, they already know the truth. Cleveland doesn't do happy endings. Cleveland does heartbreak, chaos, and bizarre loyalty to quarterbacks who should have hung it up back when flip phones were still cool.